I tried that. For 1 year, I did not use any shampoo.
And
And my hair,
I once saw one brand that said you can use this oil to soften your hair in down there. Learned that there's one school of thought that says that technically, apart from your armpits and your groin, you're not supposed to actually even wash anything else.
if I ask you, what are some good niches या product जो be it a creator or be it a D2C entrepreneur, उनको
Yeah.
target करने चाहिए कि these
Yeah.
are some good things you can make your D2C product on for the next 5 to 10 years. As a consumer, if I want to buy a product, what are the things I should be looking for?
So ये जो पूरा cruelty free वाला narrative था, it started with the Body Shop. For example, rabbits, the testing is done on their eyes because it's the most sensitive area. So the testing will be done droppers after dropper being poured into the rabbit's eye to be able to test if a certain product is working or not.
So you had a very interesting counter कि आप 1 crore for 1.33% ले लो and जो
correct.
remainder 0.67 है उसको आप advisory share ले लो, दोनों 0.33. इससे डिफरेंस क्या पड़ा? अल्टीमेटली तो उनको 2% ही गया, आपके पास नेट उतना ही पैसा आया.
So there's this amazing brand in America which sold to Shiseido for $1 billion. It was called Drunk Elephant. You come on their website and Drunk Elephant said, we are chemicals and only chemicals. But we are the safest.
Now let me confuse you a little bit more.
Please do.
I drink chemicals every day.
तो इस मीटिंग की जो बेस्ट पार्ट मेरे को पता है क्या लगी, जितने भी अभी तक शार्क टैंक के फाउंडर से मिला था उनके साथ एक वाइब आ रही थी कि एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के साथ एक क्रिएटर आके मिल रहा है, इंटरेक्शन हो रहा है.
Correct.
और हम जैसे पिछले आधे पौने घंटे से वाइब कर रहे हैं.
Correct.
It feels like 2-3 bros have met. Maybe we are
Absolutely.
traveling somewhere. We have
Correct.
met and now we are vibing together. कि
Correct.
bro ये
Correct.
bro
I'm very glad you said that because when you said जो पहले लोगों से मिला था वो entrepreneurs थे, creators थे, businessmen थे. तुम दोनों
तो
नहीं हो
बिल्कुल भी
any
नहीं.
of those things.
नहीं,
तो सिर्फ bros.
आप दोनों हो, but
Glad you
आप
said bros at the end.
But I'll tell you what. See, if you look at it, we are what? In our 30s, right? And we met when we were like as friends, 17, 18. We only became business partners in our, late 20s, early 30s. So I think हमारे में ये कि we were friends first and then business partners second. So we constantly use that as the mantra in the company to make sure that we have fun and we hang out as friends all the time as well as enjoy the business. So
And funnily enough, we happened to be when we were 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, we happened to be at a lot of the same parties, hang out with a lot of common friends.
अच्छा, so you guys know each other since you were 14, 15?
Well, we actually officially met when we were about 17, post 18, because a friend who went to school with him.
yeah.
A
Shivam,
good friend of
if
his.
you're watching this, Shivam, we're calling you out. Shivam Bhagat, he's my school friend
Acha.
who went to college with Basim,
Acha.
and he introduced us. And
So you call him Bhazeen.
yeah, because if I call him Dhruv, it'll be like saying my own name out to myself again.
And what is your surname? What do
Madhok.
Madhok?
Dhruv
Jैसे-
Madhok, Dhruv Basim.
जैसे
So
school
Bhasin
में
and
नहीं बोलते
Madhok. Can I call you guys Bhasin and Madhok?
Please, please, 100%.
please do. ध्रुव बोलोगे तो बोलते कि हाँ what's up.
अच्छा, ध्रुव में
after-
फिर confusion होगा.
After Shark Tank, you have another option. Chota recharge and mota recharge.
that option.
वैसे मोटा रिचार्ज से मेरा क्वेश्चन है, आपको कभी किसी ने बोला है कि you look like Ross Geller from Friends?
You'll be surprised. It's so funny that you're bringing this up. Since I've been in school, there have been multiple friends of mine and multiple people who have told me you look like Ross Geller. And I never minded it because Ross Geller was my favorite character on Friends.
He's just
I think
a-
for most people.
He's just a slightly uglier version. So इसका
Yeah.
नाम ना Gross Geller है. He's
But
Gross Geller.
slightly uglier
And funnier.
you are saying, but way more richer, I would say.
Oh, 100%. भाई की personality is so rich only.
I'll send you my bank statement. You won't say that after I send it. Then it'll be like, toy.
तो हमारा इनवॉइस क्लियर हो जाएगा जल्दी, फिर वो हमको गारंटी
हो जाएगा.
ये प्रीपेड तो नहीं है ना?
बट यूजुअली जब भी किसी का वैसे शार्क टैंक पे एपिसोड आता है उसके बाद उनकी सेल बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाती है, उस पे तो आएंगे, बट दे गेट वेरी पॉपुलर आल्सो. पीपल
Yeah.
स्टार्ट रिकॉग्नाइजिंग देम ऑन द स्ट्रीट्स.
It's happening.
तो आपके साथ हो रहा है कि आपको लोग कह रहे हो कि मैंने आपको फ्रेंड्स के एपिसोड पे भी देखा था?
So, okay, good. First of all, good one. I think एक देसी वर्जन निकला था फ्रेंड्स का. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
हाँ.
If at all I get recognized, it'll be probably for
जिसमें
that.
निखिल चिनप्पा.
Correct. If
I
at all मैं
actually
उसमें
didn't know.
recognize हो जाता, but no. Ross Geller I've never been, at least identified as. लेकिन post Shark Tank, it's been quite crazy. We happen to work in a mall which is connected to a very, very popular mall in Delhi. So we have a habit that we go into that mall, we go for a coffee run, बातों के लिए जाते हैं, strategic walks करते हैं. A lot of our brainstorming is actually done while we're walking.
अच्छा.
And since Shark Tank went live, every single time we go into the mall, I think it's pretty much happened every single time, and we go at least once into the mall.
But it happens. I know you're going to say that we get recognized, but I'm finding that it happens more so when we're walking together. I don't know if it's ever happened
No.
to you individually, because I feel like if they see one of us, ठीक है, they'd be like, ठीक है, शायद नहीं. But जब दोनों इकट्ठे चल रहे होते हैं, it's like यार ये तो अभी I just saw them enter on Shark Tank. You
So
know,
our superpowers are there when we're together.
Exactly.
Individual, our superpowers disperse. But I think the really amazing part and the humbling part has been कि जो भी हमें recognize कर रहे हैं, वो congratulations कह रहे हैं. You know, no one's looking at it from the point of view कि oh you're so popular on this TV show or something like that. It's been just from a place of support and saying congratulations for Shark Tank, and it's just been so humbling and felt wonderful.
and I feel like people really like they went through the emotions. Like a lot of people are saying कि हम पहले काफी नर्वस थे when you came on कि डील मिलेगी नहीं मिलेगी, but then we were so relieved जब आपको डील मिल गई, and my friend has been telling me about this brand, and also it almost feels nice कि there were so many people who were almost like who were going through it almost with us, so
it's like they are also part of the pitch.
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
rooting for these two guys.
Correct.
I'll be very honest, when your pitch started, so I was rooting for you guys. I did not know about Atara at all, about you guys. Arata. This is something I'm fumbling a lot on.
That's okay.
I did not know anything, but the only reason I was rooting for you guys was because you had that bro vibe.
Thank
it
you.
was like a bros.
Bros should no, and I promise you it's real. The bro vibe is real.
I can vouch for it. So off screen, I have been with them, I think, for past 1 hour now. The bro vibe is very real. I can tell you that.
And it's also a product of how long we've known each other. We've kind of started hanging out when we were 18 years old. We have gone through a large part of our lives. Do we now know each other longer than we've not known each other?
Yeah,
almost.
We've known each other for more than half our lives.
That's
so technically,
right.
and working in the
I
same
think
company,
you should
same
have a
startup.
disclaimer. जिस तरीके से बातें हो रही है ना, we met ऐसे.
हाँ, भाई बहुत रोमांटिक बातें हो रही हैं यार.
आपको वो disclaimer देना चाहिए जो आपने मेरे को दिया था.
मैं bromance पे आ रहा था. So it's just that we've seen difficult things in these 18 years. It's not been all candy floss and balloons.
We've seen rainbows and butterflies.
We've seen difficult times personally as well as in the business. And it's literally like it's like a second marriage, because trying to keep a partnership going means keeping your ego outside the room in all matters and every matter, and the best idea always wins. And we've kind of stuck to that. And then having seen whatever we've seen both personally and professionally over these last 18 years has kind of contributes to that bromance, contributes to the jokes, the humor, understanding each other inside out, and those comfort
but
levels.
The thing is, I've never seen our own bromance as a third person, right? But at the end of the episode, when I don't know agar aapne dekha tha, when we were walking out, right, at that point,
you guys were doing that.
When we got the checks, I actually didn't realize कि भाई अभी हुआ क्या है, because everything was happening so fast, right? कि deal भी मिल गई, check भी आ गया हाथ में. It took me a minute to realize, and then Basim's like, चल आ जा, let's go, let's leave. I'm like, oh really? And then I gave him a big high five. And जब हम निकल रहे थे, we were like literally looking at the camera, saying, that's what's up with the check.
That's what's up. This was the last question of this podcast. It was supposed to be कि आपने end में क्या बोला था? I heard कि that's how it's done, but I was confused. किसने क्या बोला?
Yeah.
So you were saying that's what's up.
He was saying it he was saying that's what's up.
That's what's up. Out of excitement, you know what I mean?
In a fun way.
But you guys met when you were 14, 15. And
18.
you guys started
17, 18.
We happened to be at similar events and parties and gatherings when we were 14, 15, but we only properly met 18 onwards.
Okay. And your business started when you guys were roughly 30 के around. And how did it click कि अब हम लोग, क्योंकि जितना मैंने देखा ना, यूजुअली co-founders एक उसी नेटवर्क से मिलते हैं. They are usually in a professional network or in the same industry, and then they are like, let's do something together. But you guys were friends. And 12 साल के बाद you started roughly your business. So how did it start?
Yeah, so it all started, I think Basim's mom, right? She has been a vegan for many years. So when you're a vegan in this country, you have to, end up, because यहाँ पे, having dairy and all that stuff is so ingrained in our culture, right? So vegetarian फिर भी मिल जाएगा, but vegan is a new concept. So for the longest time, auntie used to always be in the kitchen, making her own recipes and making alternatives to things that weren't available. So like a nut butter or, cashew cheese or something like that. So since auntie was so hands-on in the kitchen, she one day saw that Basim was using lots of hair product, right? Hair styling product.
Okay.
And she's like, beta, if you keep doing this, baal jhad jayenge, safed ho jayenge. Let me give you a natural hair gel. gel. I saw Baseen use the same amount of hair product. I was like, ये बंदा मुझसे ज़्यादा dashing क्यों लग रहा है? So I'm like, what have you used on your hair? Why and why do you
और
use?
ये इसकी शादी के event पे था.
Yeah, exactly. I just got married and I was having a party after that, and then Baseen had come and I was like, भाई इतना gel मत लगा यार, बाल झड़ जाएंगे. As you would have seen in the pitch, it was a true story.
And you said, and आपने बोला भी था कि and this is how it started.
Exactly. And we went from यहाँ तक, यहाँ से यहाँ तक, and यहाँ से यहाँ तक. So Baseen's mom made this natural hair gel, and he was, true to his word. He sent me a sample 1 or 2 days later, and the sample worked really well. So I called him. I was like, "Bhai, this is a gold mine, man. Like hair fall, hair whitening. This is such a big cause of concern."
So आपकी mom ने वो बनाया था product खुद से घर में?
Correct. It's actually बहुत ही simple तरीका है. You just flaxseed, the regular flaxseed that you have in the house, usually it's in breakfast or salads or things like that. You just boil it in water. वो जब boil होता है एक gelatinous substance बन जाता है.
अच्छा.
You just sieve it. The seeds get separated, and then you put that in the fridge, and you can use it as a hair gel. So that's what my mom had made and said, use this instead of the chemical hair gels you're using. Give it a try. तो मेरा तो zero faith था, ये तो चलने नहीं वाला. I said, Mom, I'm going to try it, but अगर नहीं चला फिर please don't badger me about this again. मैं अपना ही जो gel मैं use करता हूँ मैं वो use करूँगा. So I used it. I went for a party. I was there till late. I came back and my hair was still set. It was still, set, held. And the greatest, the best outcome for me was that, and I'm sure a lot of guys can resonate with this, is when you use product in your hair at night, when you're going out, it's a very unsettling feeling कि यार ये मेरे बालों में और स्कैल्प में पूरी रात है तो इसके साथ मैं सो नहीं सकता. Now भाई अगर तुम 1 बजे 2 बजे 3 बजे घर आए हो, who's gonna in that state gonna go have a shower and take it off your head and go to sleep? We all end up sleeping with it.
Plus all the time you feel very greasy. बाल में कुछ है मेरे.
Even if you like touch your hair, if you use a brush,
your hands get oily.
they get greasy, and then of course you try to brush your hair, फिर बाल भी चिपकते हैं, they can break also.
So that was that aha moment where I was like, wow, I can just go to sleep with this. This is actually good for my hair, this hair gel, this homemade hair gel. So I can go to sleep in it. I can wash it off next day aram se whenever I have a shower. So that's, kind of that was part of the discussion that Madhok and I had on his wedding function. And he was like, bhai, I know for a fact that you, me, and all our friends have this problem. Send me over some, let me try it. Sent it over to him the next day. He tried it and he calls me up literally the next day. And again, I don't know if he didn't call me up the next day and say, let's meet at Starbucks, let's make a business plan. If he hadn't done that, I don't know if we would have made a business out of this in the first place.
Life is so much about luck and chance, right? Like अगर Baseen ने ऐसी बस रात की बात की बोल दिया होता that I have this hair gel, मैं भेज दूंगा.
या maybe मम्मी को मना कर दिया होता कि मेरे को नहीं लगाना.
Yeah, exactly. So many things, you can only connect dots backwards. And what we thought ki most men would end up using our product, men also love the hair gel. And in fact, women are also loving the hair gel. So women with wavy hair, curly hair, who are trying to tame their frizzy hair, flyaways. There's so many men, women all out there. So kind of like that was how it started. And then we went bigger into more categories and all. But the focus remains on hair care because that's the biggest opportunity.
And this is clicking something interesting in my mind. जैसे I have seen कि हर घर में मम्मी दादी के पास कुछ तो नुस्खा होता है अपना जो वो खुद ही बना के पिच करती है.
Correct.
I always say no कि पता नहीं क्या लगा दोगे. It's like कि you never know आपकी मम्मी आपकी दादी मम्मी पापा maybe they are giving you the next $1 million D2C startup idea and you are just cribbing कि मेरे को आपका नहीं use करना.
That's
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that this is the soft knock of serendipity. If you're not listening closely, वो knock आके खटखटा के निकल भी जाएगा and you won't listen to it. So opportunities are constantly around you.
True. And how has the sale of Arata changed, impacted after the Shark Tank episode? Can you give me the numbers?
It's been really, really good. हमने बहुत बड़ा jump देखा है. बहुत बड़े jump से भी बड़ा jump.
Yeah, like massive growth.
मतलब breaking down the numbers.
I'm shy to give you the numbers, but but we've seen
it's between 1x and 10x.
Between 1x and 10x. अच्छा. So,
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we can share.
I'll put it easily. September 2023 में you had a sale of roughly 2 crore rupees.
Yeah.
ठीक है.
Right.
Yeah.
Now आपका एपिसोड आया था जनवरी में तो इम्पैक्ट आपको फरवरी में देखने को दिखेगा.
Correct.
तो फरवरी का जो रन रेट है जनवरी में कितना सेल था एंड फरवरी में आप कितना सेल निकाल रहे हो? If you can't tell me the numbers of revenue, you can tell me the sale. इतना बिक रहा है हमारा.
So I think we'll probably be seeing somewhere, and again, it's early days, but again, we've had the infrastructure in place to be able to leverage this opportunity. So we're seeing somewhere around 3x to 4x jump in sales.
4x. So right now you are doing around 7 to 8 crores in monthly run rate already.
It's
Yeah.
still early days where, just short of 2 weeks in, but there's nothing to suggest that things are slowing down. In fact, we're seeing that momentum is increasing. So,
Okay.
yeah, we're just,
The
Is
momentum will
this
increase further with this podcast.
Is this a 4 din ki chandni, or is this a sustained, activity that remains to be seen? But we're doing whatever we can for this momentum, which is why we're also here. As they say, PR हमें इस मोड़ पे ले आया.
But नहीं, you have a 45% repeat customers, right? So I'm sure कि अभी आपको ये जो एक initial boost भी मिला है, this
Yeah.
will continue क्योंकि
Correct.
45% of these, if
Yeah.
we trust the statistics and the numbers,
Yeah.
history repeats itself,
Yes.
numbers will repeat itself,
Yeah.
तो 45% तो retain होगा.
we have
Correct.
full faith. We have full faith in our products. We have full faith in our brand. So we're confident that, now that we've gotten a visibility opportunity like Shark Tank, we can retain the customers that come through this funnel.
And its industry ka nature is like this, that if you have a shampoo or a gel, and if it's working for you, you have a face wash or a toothpaste or a lip balm, whatever is working for you. So jab khatam hoga, naturally you'll end up going and ordering it again as well. So we're kind of hoping that that remains true for even large scale marketing events or opportunities or moments like this.
And as soon as the episode, and also I also want to add that the reason we're seeing this kind of growth, we're not tearing at the seams. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि हर जगह फट रहा है and हम factory में बैठे हैं और हम packing units में बैठे हैं. It's because we started our work the day
we got the deal.
we shot.
Yeah.
The day we shot, we went back to our hotel room and we started strategizing with the team, saying that this is a huge event, a brand intervention for the company. We need to start working today. Even though I think from when we shot to it going live was a few months,
5 months?
2, 3, 4 months, 3 months.
7th October to 2nd Feb.
3 months almost.
3 months, yeah.
But we said that by the time we're able to get everything in place, we meet the marketplaces. So we traveled around the country. We met all our partners, suppliers, buy side, sell side. We made sure we had inventory. We made sure we got visibility. We had marketing assets, everything. We had to put everything in place so that now we could take advantage of the traffic that's coming in and sustain it moving forward. Because if you get that blimp and it suddenly goes away and you're back to BAU, I think you've wasted the opportunity.
Definitely.
And that's the last thing that we want.
And
so we're staying diligent.
This is, we believe, like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Definitely.
Because you can't go to Shark Tank every year, right? And
If you are a shark, you can.
yeah. So hopefully we'll go
Next time
back
we
now
go.
as a shark in a few years, So, but I was just thinking that it's like, I mean, I can't dare compare it to like the UPSC, but it's like the odds and the statistics are so slim, right? Ki there'll be lakhs of applications. Usme se kuch few hundred will be called for auditions. Usme se few hundred will be going to shoot. Usme se maybe 100 or 200 will get recorded. Usme se let's say 50 or 100 will get
Do
funded.
you know the numbers exactly?
Not
कितने
exactly,
applications
because
are?
वो share नहीं करते. But but mota
It's
what
just
we've
anecdotal.
understood is just anecdote. That at least this is the perception that we have.
I mean, if you're looking at hundreds of millions of people watching the show over a period of time, I'm assuming there are hundreds of thousands, lakhs and lakhs of applications going in, the initial applications. And then from lakhs and lakhs, it comes down to about, I think, 120, 140 odd pitches that you see on television. And then from there, there's about 50% of those get funded. So the
But it's-
odds of
yeah.
getting on the show and closing a deal are so slim. They're so slim.
Definitely.
But
And even though, and I was just saying, to the point where we went and we prepared, we didn't know whether we were going to be on the show or not, or whether we were going to be on TV or only on OTT or only on YouTube, or hamara aayega bhi ya nahi aayega, because there's no confirmations given until a few days before.
Definitely.
But we still put in the work. And we thought ki, yaar, हम एयर होंगे तो ग्रेट, ना भी एयर होंगे ना तो वी आर जस्ट वर्किंग टू मेक श्योर वी इम्प्रूव आवर बिजनेस. लेट्स मेक श्योर वी हैव स्टॉक, वी हैव मैन पावर, वी हैव टेक्नोलॉजी, वी हैव एवरीथिंग रेडी, मार्केटिंग, ऑटोमेशन, बजट्स, वर्किंग कैपिटल, एवरीथिंग शुड बी सेट. तो शार्क टैंक पे अगर ना भी जाते, दिस वुड बी अ ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू काइंड ऑफ optimize and improve the business.
Yeah, and I'd also not want to paint a completely like cloudy picture around the odds of getting in are very low. So it's not even worth trying. We did it. Hundreds of brands like us did it. So I posted about this on LinkedIn, and just take the shot no matter how far the target is. Just take that shot. If Madhok hadn't pushed and said, let's do it, let's go for it, we probably wouldn't have ended up doing it. And we beat the odds and we did it. And so many other brands have done it too. So take the shot, give it a shot. If it doesn't happen, okay, you tried. You don't look back and say, "Yeah, try karna chahiye tha."
And that's the beauty of this show, right? Through this show, there are hundreds of millions of people who are watching and getting inspired and understanding that yes, India, this is India's growth story. This is the time to start up. This is the time to grow. This is the time to try something new.
Yep.
Entrepreneurship is becoming sexy now.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
It's not easy. It's hard, but now it's being recognized, right? And people are getting inspired through the show. The sharks are being able to find good startups. The entrepreneurs are getting good visibility. The show is becoming extremely successful. So it's such a beautiful win-win situation for everybody involved.
I think
all
season
stakeholders.
3 was the most successful season until now. Season 2 में मैंने सुना था there was some dip in the viewership, but season 3 has picked up really well this time.
Yes, apparently.
From what I can see on social media.
Yeah.
And like coming back to थोड़ा सा D2C. You guys are from a D2C background, and whenever I see a new D2C brand growing, मेरे दिमाग में क्वेश्चन आता है कि यार ये लोग ऐसा क्या डिफरेंट कर रहे हैं जो एग्जिस्टिंग बड़े प्लेयर नहीं कर पाए. जैसे you guys said कि आपका ऑल नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट या अल्कोहल फ्री प्रोडक्ट्स में एक्सपर्टीज है, in Namita's words, right? But the thing which always clicks in my mind whenever I see a D2C brand is कि यार इनके जो बड़ी कंपनियां established है वो भी तो ये कर सकते हैं. तो इन्होंने क्या डिफरेंट करा?
जो बड़े कंपनीज है ना, what they try to do is they try to cater to as large an audience as possible.
Okay.
But what you can do using technology, which D2C brands are doing, is cater to small niches. Because for large brands, it doesn't move the needle. For them to build a 50 or 100 crore business is
It's
not
nothing.
exciting. They want to build several hundred crores, if not thousands of crores. So they look for what is the most common denominator. But our country has such a large population that niches also can become very, very sizable consumer bases and customer bases.
Okay.
So I feel like that's one thing that D2C brands do very well. They'll figure out what is the, what are some niches that they can focus on, and what are the unique solutions that they can offer to that particular community that can do very well for them, and just they can build a very, very successful business out of it.
And I think just to add to that essentially large brands, FFCGs are very risk off, right? They're not going to get into those niches that Madhok mentioned because it's going to take a substantial amount of R&D and time and effort, maybe even years, to be able to actually make one product live or make a range live. It goes through the system it takes, from what we've heard from experts, it could take a year, 2 years, 3 years. And that is why you asked that what can we do that they can't do differently? We can take a product to market in 30 to 40 days, from hypothesis to R&D to
sampling,
packaging, sampling,
to production.
final testing, and take it live. That's an ability we have that a very large FMCG doesn't have. In fact, and this is the reason why FMCGs are looking to invest in smaller brands like us, because we have that level of agility to be able to discover what new markets are out there, what new niches are out there, and that is the superpower we have.
It's an
agility.
ever evolving landscape. मतलब जो growth story हो रहा है इंडिया में, this is literally the next few decades are ours. Like the amount of consumerism that's happening, the aspiration is increasing. People are becoming more aware of global products, global services, global, and there's just such a huge, growth and surge in demand for anything and everything that didn't exist. Maybe
the middle class is also increasing of India, so I think that is contributing a lot.
Yeah, the middle class is moving up to the upper middle class. The upper middle class is becoming HNIs. People are coming out of the poverty line. I think there's just so many, and then that coupled with the fact कि अब internet penetration बढ़ रहा है, UPI payments and debit card and credit card penetration बढ़ रहा है. So last mile logistics is improving. E-commerce is scaling, and quick commerce is so all of these beautiful things are coming together, and this is becoming such a beautiful opportunity for young entrepreneurs to start something and do something.
So जैसे I am a creator and one of the biggest goals that creators have is to monetize their audience. And one thing which I'm really betting on is कि मेरे को as a creator कोई D2C brand launch करना चाहिए जो शुरुआत में मेरे distribution से leverage होगा, but eventually it should become a self-sustainable brand in itself.
ठीक है.
तो if I ask you what are some good niches या product जो be it a creator or be it a D2C entrepreneur उनको target करने चाहिए कि these are some good things you can make your D2C product on for the next 5 to 10 years.
So I think I would ask the question slightly differently, and I'll answer your question with the question. What is a product or service that you feel very strongly about?
Okay.
If the answer to that question is hypothetically, you love sunglasses, I would say start focusing on that, because you as a creator will be able to give a lot of genuine insights into that product that other people will not be able to. Because because you have 500 sunglasses, let's say, as a collection. You understand vintage, you understand retro, you understand कि Brazil में किस type के sunglasses पहनते हैं,
Materials,
कि materials, wooden sunglasses बन रहे हैं इस type के. So it's something that you're passionate about. So my answer to that question would be is, as a creator, look at just like starting, this would be probably an insight for anyone starting their business. Look at what you're passionate about and look how you can monetize that. You've already got a distribution channel, which is your audience. Pick something that you love, that you're passionate about, and then slowly start building on that.
So
But still, if I ask you certain niches or
Yeah.
let's say certain products जो अगले 5-10 साल में you can bet on कि ये चलेंगे
ठीक है.
D2C India में.
I'll give you a few examples, right? Not product specific, but category specific. So you can say beauty and personal care, fashion and apparel, home and kitchen and garden, electronics and appliances, because ultimately these are all things that consumers will need, right? So I'm talking about physical products because I think that's what the understanding that we built over the last few years. In these few categories, you can build anything that is differentiated, ideally highly differentiated, or at least incrementally differentiated. And if not differentiated, then price competitive. अगर आप यही करोगे, and if you can just stay alive for 10 years, I feel like you can build a sizable business.
But if you want to know some specific subcategory that's on trend, I would say fragrances.
Oh, for sure.
I would say
Yeah.
serums.
Yeah.
Hair specifically is the base might be smaller, but trending items.
Yep.
Probably hair hardware.
Hair hardware. What
Hardware.
is hair
So
hardware?
like hardware, like electronic appliances for hair.
What? Electronic appliances for hair.
As in, I mean like straighteners, blow dryers,
अच्छा, उस हिसाब से.
diffusers, things like that.
Curling irons.
Okay. I thought there are some new variables in market for your hair
Yeah.
कि you attach it, आपका hair quality बताएगा.
I mean, I'm sure
So even
that
this,
might
even
exist.
that's
Yeah.
a thing. Even that's a thing. There are apparently these small machines which you can kind of like scan your scalp and they give you a reading of a few health metrics of your scalp and hair as
अच्छा.
well. So I mean, yeah, these are two that immediately come to mind.
Fair enough. Now, if I talk specifically about your D2C brand, which is around hair care, and I won't talk about the brand as much right now, as much I would talk about the real deal, which is your
Yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
ठीक है. As a consumer, I'll be asking a lot of questions जो मेरी तरह I'm sure यार बहुत लोग के doubt होंगे.
ठीक है.
पहला तो मेरे को वही है कि whenever I मतलब Google for it कि what hair care मतलब brand should I use या फिर
Yeah.
how to look after it. There's a lot of debate going on whether you should be using sulfate
Yeah.
and silicone or not.
Right.
Some people are saying करो, some people are
Right.
saying नहीं करोगे तो ये
Right.
होगा.
Right.
So if you could enlighten me, what is this whole debate about and which side is correct and which side is not?
So it's definitely a debate, rightly said, because the world's global brands, most high performing, most progressive and successful brands are using both silicons and sulfates.
Okay.
I think in दोनों में ना health का कोई necessarily concern नहीं है. I think there's a concern of environmental issues and environmental concerns. So it's about whether they can cause harm to the environment. But on human use, technically, it's not necessarily a matter of concern. If it was, then a lot of brands wouldn't be using it. Now, it's a very personal choice. There are many customers who don't want to use silicons and sulfates, and more power to them. Just like somebody wants to, not use a face wash and just wash their face with water, or some people prefer to do oil pulling, instead of toothbrushing. So I feel like there is always a debate. There's always pros and cons, and I think internet pe you can find both sides of the argument. There's nothing right or wrong about
But
this.
I have heard from what I read, I don't think the debate, मतलब I might be wrong here, but जो मैंने पढ़ा था, the debate, I don't think it's about environmental concern. It's about कि कौन सा chemical आपके बालों को long term में खराब करेगा. Something you also mentioned कि silicone use करने से आपको एक hydration
Soft
effect
feeling
मिलेगा, but
आएगा.
maybe long term it doesn't really.
So there's the thing is eventually it is a debate because there's probably a certain science lobby. I wouldn't call it a lobby, but let's say there's a science argument to it, and then there's a marketing lobby to it as well. A very objective way of looking at it, which we kind of use at Arata, is there's a framework called the EWG Skin Deep Framework.
Okay.
EWG, you can pay me some money for sponsoring you guys on
So this is that same
But-
dictionary of ingredients
That's
that
right.
you mentioned.
That's right.
correct,
So
correct.
what it is, it's like a Google for all ingredients in beauty and personal care. Anything. So if it's makeup, if it's a body wash, it's styling, it's a shampoo, just flip your packaging around, look at the ingredients, उस ingredient को enter करो search में, enter दबाओ, और वो आपको एक scale देगा, एक toxicity score देगा 1 से 10. 10 being the most toxic and harmful and potentially carcinogenic, and 1 to 3 is the safe zone. So what we do at Arata is we make sure that every single ingredient that goes into every single product is below the 1 to 3, 1 to
you
4.
mentioned
Yeah.
also, I
In
think.
the in the fully safe zone.
Because it's the most objective way of figuring it out, right? Because हर कोई ये बोलेगा कि यार my products are best, they're cleanest and all. So how did we overcome that? And how do we give that trust to the consumer? We're like, don't ask us. Go to this organization. It's an independent third party. You can put our ingredients on that website and you can see it.
बट क्या D2C ब्रांड्स का एक टसल होता है कि हाउ मच कैन आई लाइक बैलेंस आउट कि क्या सेफ है और क्या इफेक्टिव है? मे बी समथिंग व्हिच इज वेरी सेफ, इट माइट नॉट बी वेरी इफेक्टिव इन द शॉर्ट टर्म और लॉन्ग टर्म. मे बी समथिंग दैट इज नॉट वेरी सेफ बट इफेक्टिव या तो शॉर्ट में है या लॉन्ग में है. भले ही उसका कॉन्सिक्वेंस कुछ और हो बट आपके बाल के लिए अच्छा है.
Right.
इज इट लाइक अ टसल दैट यू गाइस
Yeah,
फेस?
see, the thing is, I'll tell you what. Theoretically, it should be a tussle, but we are all humans at the end of the day. And we want something that works for us, right? Now, यहाँ पे हम silicons and sulfates के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, but people are still smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol and smoking vapes. And, so it's like everybody knows that these things aren't good for you, but they'll still continue to use them. Not saying that the shampoos that have sulfates are like cigarettes or vapes or alcohol, but it's like ultimately the consumer wants to get the job done. Now, for the most part, what we've tried to do is make sure कि हमारे products में there's no trade-off. Because if I place a Karela juice in front of you and I place a aerated beverage, a soft drink in front of you, and I'll be like, which of the two do you want to drink? You will look at the Karela juice, you'll be like, this is more nutritious.
But I'll want
But
the
you
other
hold the cola and drink it. So same way, if we can give you basically the benefits of the Karela juice, but the taste of the cola, then you're really winning, right?
And I
But
think
I would disagree over here क्योंकि यहाँ पे it's about tasting something. That is something I want an instant gratification for my taste.
Correct.
For my hair, I wouldn't really care कि इसका. I would only want it for the effectiveness of it.
Yes,
right?
yes. But hair, maybe you can get instant gratification, right? You can also tell that your gel, if it's working for you or if it's not working for you. If your gel is not holding your hair in place, if it's not giving you a shiny look, if it's not, getting rid of the frizz, if it's not, moisturizing your hair, then it's not going to work for you. Now, if I give you a very natural hair gel, but it doesn't hold, it doesn't, do away with moisturization.
But natural.
But it's natural.
So to speak.
You'd be like, हाँ, मैं पक्का use करूँगा, 100% use करूँगा. The moment I leave the room, you're like, छोड़, फेंक इसको.
See, once again, I'm very confused. As a consumer,
Yeah.
you guys are the
Yeah.
experts, so you
Yeah.
know what to do. As
Yeah.
a consumer, once again, I'm confused कि मैं all natural पे जाऊँ, कि उसमें sulfate हो या silicone हो. I'll tell you, आपने मेरे को वो platform बताया. But as a consumer, it will be very tedious for me कि
Yes,
मैं
to
हर
go.
product को
Correct.
जाऊँ,
So
search करूँ.
let me break this down to bare bones.
If you could
natural-
basically tell me as a consumer, you should be doing this to find the best product for you. As a consumer,
Yeah.
what can I do?
So first, let me just break it down to bare bones, which is that what does natural mean? Okay, when you use the word all natural, it depends on what your definition of natural is. Now, if I were to take and squeeze an orange and get the orange juice out and put the orange juice into a packaging and say, okay, here, this is a hair gel, this is orange juice hair gel. It's pure orange juice, you put it on your hair and your hair will look styled. But it'll only last for 24 hours, उसके बाद खराब हो जाएगा. That is a natural ingredient that has been used. Any product, no matter what the claims of natural are overall, the extract has to go through some kind of a process to become shelf stable.
Okay.
Right? Because you can't have any kind of a cosmetic product, whether it's a hair product, a skin product, or a makeup product, to sit on a shelf for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years in its rawest form, because it does spoil. So my main point being is that you need to understand what your definition of natural is. If you are okay with boiling flax seeds and taking them out and cooling them and keeping in the fridge for 7 hours and then using it on your hair, and you think that is my definition of normal and I want to do that every single day of my life, okay, that you can consider as natural. But what you should be looking at is what is truly safe. So there's this amazing brand in America which sold to Shiseido for $1 billion. It was called Drunk Elephant, right? You come on their website and Drunk Elephant said, we are chemicals and only chemicals.
Okay.
But we are the safest, most effective, and the best chemicals that are out there.
Now let me confuse you a little bit more.
Please do.
I drink chemicals every day. because technically water is also a chemical. It is a chemical of hydrogen and oxygen, right? When we started the company, we named our brand Arata Zero Chemicals. But very quickly we had to remove zero chemicals because we realized कि यार saying zero chemicals is actually misleading because even water is a chemical. Now the hair gel has water and flaxseed, but it has 96% water. So it's 96% chemical technically, right?
Correct.
But let's also have faith in our systems and our authorities, right? अगर आपका कोई product market में available है, it's passing the FDA, okay, it's passing the Ayush license. It's safe. I mean, ऐसा नहीं है कि you will use something and, you know, suddenly like something catastrophic will happen. So for the consumer, for the most part, if you're buying a product from a reputed brand, it's been around. Sure, there's new debates about, you know, what's right, what's not right. But more or less what you're buying from the markets are safe. Ultimately, it comes down to a personal preference. जो consumers का जो एक awareness है, and you know, the more a consumer knows and the more the consumer learns and the more nuanced they get, the more sophisticated they get, they can keep, you know, buying different variety of products. Like somebody will move from, you know, natural from vegetables to organic vegetables, but ultimately आप normal vegetables भी खाओगे, you will be fine.
Yeah, and the final, I think, part of this is that consumers are so aware now. The fact that we're even asking these questions now, I think it's just a consumer's responsibility, and I talk of myself as a consumer as well. Just know what you're applying to yourself. So when you're looking at products that you want to buy, just make sure whatever's in there is safe. It can be a chemical, it can be natural. Now, if tomorrow we launch a neem face wash with like 80% neem concentration, your face will get burnt and fall off.
That's true.
Right?
That's natural.
That's fully natural. So whatever you're buying, just make sure that whatever you're buying is safe, and that's what we ensure at Errata. Whatever
It has
you're
to be a
using,
thought-through decision, but like for example, I didn't make a very thought-through decision when I chose him as my co-founder. So don't make mistakes like that.
don't worry,
But
the
बाकी,
universe made
yeah,
that very thoughtful
yeah,
decision
yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
My next question was something around this only कि as a consumer, if I want to buy a product, what are the things I should be looking for in terms of safety, effectiveness, सब कुल मिला के. If you could just tell कि look for this in your hair care product and avoid this in your hair care product.
It's, you know, I think it depends on your hair type. Now, if you have wavy hair or curly hair, you will need more moisturization, right? If you have an oily scalp, you'll need something with a slightly stronger surfactant, you know, a little bit more cleansing. So I think ultimately it's a very personal choice, which is why there's a variety of products and brands out there, and which is why there's a variety of sub-brands and sub-categories and sub-products that are
But
available.
things that you specifically want to avoid are, of course, parabens, DEAs, phthalates. If there's any heavy metals in your products, those are like absolute avoids. Like, and there are enough and more out there. It was because of that why we started Errata, that we want a safe and effective hair care brand. So any ingredient that is in Errata is 100% safe and is subjectively safe. You can check on EWG.
Fair enough.
So that was the purpose with which we did it, and that is what I would say keep an eye out for as a consumer. Just these are the ones I specifically listed, and just take that one step forward if you really want to be conscious about what you're buying. Check on EWG or any
Fair
other
enough.
platform you may know.
Fair enough. One more thing which always like sparks my curiosity is कि हर hair type के लिए एक अलग product या आपने जो बोला ये चीजों को look out करो. तो फर्क क्या पड़ता है अगर किसी का कर्ली बाल है, किसी का वेवी है, किसी का ड्राई है, किसी का कुछ भी है.
Correct.
हाउ डज इट मैटर एंड इंग्रेडिएंट अलग अलग उसको क्यों हेल्प कर पाता है, क्योंकि बाल तो इनहेरेंटली सेम है.
Right.
एज अ कंज्यूमर मेरे दिमाग में क्वेश्चन
Right,
आता है क्या
right.
बाल तो वही है,
Correct.
तो उसके ऐसे होने से या ऐसे होने से इंग्रेडिएंट क्यों बदल रहा है.
Very good question. Now, अब जो बाल ऐसे हैं, okay, that's going to have a different texture and different porosity than बाल जो ऐसे हैं.
Okay.
And also your
What is
gravity.
porosity?
Porosity is the material, the thickness, the absorption capacity of a
Achha.
particular hair strand, right? So because if your hair is straight, it will work with gravity and kind of come down. But अगर आपके बाल curly हैं, then they'll kind of naturally go a little bit against gravity. Now what's happening is जो आपके बालों में जो sebum है in your scalp, you have oils, natural oils that occur in your scalp and your roots. They will not reach your tips. वो सिर्फ roots में रह जाएंगे if your hair is going against gravity. But if your hair is straight, then your hair will still remain moisturized. So that's why you will see, for the most part, with people who have wavy curly hair, whether it's a guy or a girl, if the hair is curly, they'll end up having more drier hair, more frizzy hair. So there are ingredients like murmuru butter, and there's Abyssinian seed oil, which is great for hydration. They're supposed to be higher in protein content also, because for this particular hair type. So I think hair is a full universe.
But this makes sense. आपका किस टाइप, now that you broke it down physics वाले perspective से,
Correct.
I think different ingredients का फिर different capacity होता होगा maybe to travel
Yeah.
across your stems या I don't know
And in a simple way,
molecular level.
essentially, all hair is not created equal.
हाँ.
Every hair type has different needs, and just like we see in skincare. पहले क्या होता था, I mean 20-25 साल पहले, 30 साल पहले, साबुन की टिक्की के साथ फ्रॉम हेड टू टो एंड हेयर आल्सो, इट वाज वन साबुन की टिक्की बीइंग यूज्ड इन इंडिया.
मेरे मम्मी पापा बोलते हैं जब शैम्पू नहीं होता कभी कभी, when I live in Gurgaon but sometimes I come to Noida and I'm like शैम्पू नहीं है, like साबुन लगाओ.
Correct. Because that is our thought process, because we haven't had options for anything beyond that only became real post 92.
Okay.
So how we're seeing, so we saw that one sabun ki tikki, and this was actually part of our pitch if I remember correctly, but I don't think that part made it.
It didn't.
The sabun ki tikki turned into a shampoo, it turned into a face wash, it turned into body wash, it turned into, अब हम कहाँ पे आ गए हैं कि अगर एक पिंपल है उसका एक 5-step रूटीन है.
अब एक अंडर आई का क्रीम आ गया है. पहले एक फुल फेस का क्रीम होता था. नाउ दिस अंडर आई क्रीम.
बट क्या ये सब कुछ एक्चुअली जरूरत है, और इज इट अ लॉट अबाउट क्रिएटिंग अ गुड मार्केटिंग गिमिक प्रोडक्ट, कि आपको इधर के लिए अलग प्रोडक्ट है, आपके इधर के लिए अलग है, इधर के लिए अलग, इधर के लिए
So I would say, look, I would say very truthfully, a lot of it is logical, a lot of it is illogical and marketing as well.
Okay.
So I think you have to see what works for you as a consumer, what you buy into, what makes sense, and what works for you. So there are brands who are saying ये 17 step का routine use करो और इसको हर रोज यूज करो, इसको 3 साल के लिए यूज करो, तभी आपको जाके इफेक्ट पता चलेगा. I mean, of course, there is this kind of nonsense out there as well, but as long as what people are selling makes logical and scientific sense, I think you have to buy into it. And this is where I was just saying, this is where consumer awareness and consumer awareness comes in.
One of our investors, they asked us, I think 2-3 years ago when we were talking to them, they were saying that ये जो markets में चल रहा है up down ये वो, you think the consumer knows what they're doing? And we said, nahi, sometimes consumers don't know anything. And he said, I'd like to stop you right there. The consumers know what they're doing, right? Now, if people have been able to build brands around products which seem like marketing or gimmicks, there's a very simple philosophy. You can fool some people all of the time. You can fool all people some of the time, but you can't fool all people all the time. And if people have built businesses around products that are niche, that one might consider a gimmick or a fad, there must be something to it.
And the truth is in the pudding, right? वो साबुन की टिक्की शैम्पू और कंडीशनर बन गया था, right? And
अब वो कंडीशनर रिंस ऑफ और लीव इन बन गया है.
तो इफ आई आस्क यू, ऐसे कौन से पर्सनल केयर प्रोडक्ट्स है आपके किसी भी फेस पे, इनफैक्ट बॉडी पार्ट पे, जो कंप्लीटली गिमिक है? डोंट टेल द ब्रांड नेम, बस प्रोडक्ट की इससे तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला, तो डोंट रन बिहाइंड दिस.
Okay. This is an interesting question, actually. Let's think of something that we don't sell so that we don't have to.
नहीं, you have to give an honest, non-branded answer.
I know.
Like this is something, this question is inspired. Raj Shamani का एक interview था with some, I think it was around sex and sexual products.
Okay.
So the question was कि ऐसे कौन से products है जो effective नहीं है, completely
I
gimmick है.
once saw one brand, now that you mentioned sexual products, I once saw one brand that said you can use this oil to soften your hair down there. And I was like, now that is a very random product offering. So that's one thing that I thought is a very random, kind of thing.
But maybe what else in personal care which you think कि इस body part को ही अलग से target करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है? Don't go behind this.
So, technically I was doing research and I've also understood, I've learned that there's one school of thought that says that technically apart from your armpits and your groin, you're not supposed to actually even wash anything else. You're not supposed, apparently you're not supposed to use a soap on your arms and your back and your chest and your neck.
And what is their rationale behind that?
The rationale they say is that the human body has, the ability to kind of cleanse itself. Yeah, but again, there's also these movements of like no poo, and all that stuff.
My next question was on this only. Do you know about Johnny Harris?
Who pioneered the no poo, no shampoo movement.
Yeah. Johnny Harris made a YouTube video, and I'll tell you my own story also. मैं पहले बहुत frustrated था कि यार कौन सा शैम्पू लगाए, क्या करे, ये बहुत frustrated. I saw that Johnny Harris video. He made a video on the no poo movement, his own experience कि 5 years ago he stopped using shampoo and his hair is in the best state right now. And how this is actually a no poo movement. Not that Johnny Harris started it, but now he has become one of the most talked about persons in that no poo movement.
Right.
I tried that. For 1 year, I did not use any shampoo. And my hair, I won't say uske karan, but my hair was, if not the best, but not worse at least. I was happy with my
same
hair.
था.
बुरा नहीं था. If anything, I would say better था. मैं oil लगाता था.
And gym के बाद भी you were not washing your hair.
Yeah, I never use shampoo. I think मैंने 3-4 महीने में एक बार कर लेता था कि यार कहीं ऐसी कोई गंदगी ना हो जो जा ही ना रही हो. तो once in a while I tried that. अभी भी I don't use shampoo at all. मैं महीने में 1-2 बार लगाता हूँ because of my acne problem. मेरे को
Got
डॉक्टर
it.
ने एक specific shampoo बोला है.
आप प्लीज मेरे कस्टमर से दूर रहना, उनको ये मत बताओ. just
नहीं, but I want to hear your thought on this whole no poo movement and like obviously you guys will counter it only.
No,
No.
I will definitely not counter it. I will actually say I am not a part of the no poo movement, but I personally don't see any major value in shampooing your hair every day.
Okay.
So मुझे भी अपने कस्टमर से दूर करेगा.
नहीं.
So I tend to wash my hair once a week, and now the shampoo I do use, I won't tell you what brand it is. You just have to guess. Is very
Let me
mild.
guess, Arata.
It's very mild. It's gentle.
Non-toxic, vegan,
It's
cruelty-free, sustainable.
it's an award winner as well, from what I heard. But the point being is that I do believe in the power of the human body. I do believe. What you're saying about that you don't need to like soap your body, ever or rarely or whatever it is, and you just need to wash yourself with water. I could potentially, understand that, yes, that could have some kind of scientific, backing
yeah.
and logic.
Yeah.
So I believe that the less external intervention in the human body overall, the better. Unless you have something specific, like you have a specific. So we met someone who also had, I think, some skin problem or something like that, and the doctor encourages them that you need to wash your hair every single day. And she was a woman, and I mean, from what we understand from most of our women consumers is that women customers is that they tend to wash maybe once a week, once in 2 weeks, because it's very difficult to manage. It's very impractical to wash regularly. And she got quite the opposite advice ke har roz apne baal dhoya karo. So yeah, I wouldn't say that be part of the no poop movement. Again, I don't know if it sounds diplomatic or not. You have to figure out what works for you. For me, washing my hair once a week, as in with shampoo, makes sense, and it suits my hair really well. But obviously I wash it with water and make sure it's thoroughly cleaned every single day.
Okay.
But I use shampoo once a week. You're saying you didn't use it for 1 year and you had a great result.
Yeah.
There are people
I
who
use
use once a month.
shampoo. I use shampoo once a day.
You use
Sometimes
every day.
twice a day.
And इसके तो बाल control ही नहीं हो
So,
रहे.
I know.
And आपके
Seriously.
बाल बहुत अच्छे हैं.
Man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
एक
Like,
minute,
बोला
I
है.
actually want to touch base on this. You
हाँ.
wash your hair every day with
yes,
shampoo.
twice a day.
Once a week. Once a week. Once a week.
Seriously?
Once a week.
But what about like
Once a
gym
month.
के बाद and all, after running,
नहीं,
jogging,
मैं
workouts?
gym के बाद I put on the shower and I just
Commuting.
nicely just wash my hair with
हाँ.
water.
But यार इतना धूल मिट्टी, sweat, pollution, all
पानी.
that stuff.
आपको शैम्पू कंपनीज ने बेवकूफ बना दिया है ऐसा
हाँ.
बोल के.
अपने
आपकी
आप
खुद
को
की
ही
मार्केटिंग टीम ने आपको
मैं
ट्रिक
इतना
कर दिया.
marketing,
Market it
I
yourself.
market myself in the mirror.
But now
तू ही
my-
बड़ा customer बनेगा मेरा. हाँ.
But now my question is this only. A lot of people have this discussion also कि how often you should shampoo. Some people say every day, some say alternate days, some
Yeah.
say once a week, some say don't shampoo only.
Right, right.
So how often should someone be shampooing?
Again, this isn't a one size fits all. ये t-shirt नहीं है. It's everyone's body is different. Now, this is the reason why even finding the right shampoo or the right conditioner or the right face wash is people usually go through that decision journey to find the one that fits them. So even for shampoos, I would say it all depends on who you are, what your lifestyle is. Do you exercise? Do you eat clean? Do you not eat clean? What do you prefer? What's your preference? What is practical? How many times you shampoo, I think, has very little to do with your hair health. It has more to do with what is the holistic lifestyle going on along with that shampooing. So आप एक बार यूज करो महीने में, आप एक बार यूज करो दिन में, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला unless you're using really a poor quality harsh shampoo, that can topically damage you.
If you're going to be exposed to dust pollution, your work requires you to constantly be on the move, so you'll end up sweating more. I don't see the harm in shampooing regularly, so long as you make a mindful choice about the shampoo. Of course, I'm not a doctor, so please, speak to your dermat. But
This is not a financial advice बोलते हैं.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
a personal care advice.
yeah. This
Only
advice
for-
is subject to market risk.
Only for educational purposes.
yeah,
Yes.
read all educational
For
documents
entertainment
carefully.
purposes.
Yeah.
But as an average consumer, if I ask you, what are the only average consumer? I understand one size doesn't fit all. एक average consumer को कौन से product की जरूरत है for their hair care?
Shampoo, conditioner.
That's all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oil.
as in you mean for care or beyond enhancement?
Only
के
for
लिए?
hair care.
I think just
Shampoo,
a
conditioner,
shampoo
oil.
and a conditioner. Yeah, shampoo, conditioner, and oil. These are the if I had a choice that for my hair there were only 3 products I could use, it would be a shampoo or a very nourishing shampoo that does the job of both, and an oil. An oil is very, very important.
Not conditioner in your case.
See,
I wouldn't say
shampoo mein
specifically.
it
I wouldn't say specifically a conditioner. If you have because the oil does that job as well, right? So if I had to choose, if it was 2, I would go with the shampoo and the oil.
तो एक शैम्पू, एक कंडीशनर और एक ऑयल, ये क्या अलग-अलग पर्पस सर्व करते हैं?
Oil is for hydration.
Okay.
The shampoo is for cleansing your scalp.
Okay.
The conditioner is for moisturizing and giving conditioning to your hair.
Locking
Achha.
in moisture.
Okay. So shampoo से you clean your scalp.
Yeah.
Conditioner will help you
Oil
nourish
आप once or
your
twice a week कर
बाल
सकते
के
हो.
strands and oil will help with the hydration.
Yes.
Fair enough. आजकल ना consumers वैसे बहुत ज़्यादा conscious हो गए हैं about the ingredients in their food items also and in their personal care
Correct.
items also. So could we have like a quick breakdown of the ingredients in your best sellers and what do they mean for an layman consumer?
ठीक है. So
I don't want कि ये वाला alcohol है. I want to understand कि उसका मतलब क्या है.
ठीक है. So one, this is a very good point.
हाँ, we can maybe have the products
Yeah,
only.
sure,
yeah.
sure, sure. So one very good point is कि जैसे आपने बोला ना कि for as a lay person you don't know what ingredients will do what.
हाँ.
What we've done is हमने हमारे सारे products के back में ना जो लेबल है, जो ingredients हैं, उस ingredients के साथ में एक bracket में simple layman terms lay
अच्छा,
person.
you have done that, dude. Very good.
Because the objective is also to educate people, right? Because
like
they should
for
make more informed decisions whether they buy from us or from somebody else. Sorry.
Yeah, no. For example, our super shampoo, which is our top seller and the one we spoke about on Shark Tank, and Aman loves the super shampoo. So
आपको
interesting.
actually अमन के उस वाले clip का ad चलाना चाहिए.
चला रहे हैं.
Speaking as a creator.
Yeah,
चला रहे हो आप?
चला हुआ है. Yeah.
Give a raise to that marketing guy.
Yeah.
Good, I'll do that.
Let's give ourselves a raise.
ठीक है.
But interesting backstory about this shampoo, specifically the super shampoo, is it has onion oil, argan oil, apple cider vinegar, and bringraj and 2-3 other ingredients, which are very highly searched ingredients. So we saw that there are shampoos with onion oil, there are shampoos with bringraj, there are shampoos with apple cider vinegar. And we were like, why can't we create one super shampoo that has them all? One super shampoo that will rise above them all.
This is the magic of technology, right? Because we can look at Google keyword trends and see what is it that the consumers want. And हमने इस instance में we've collected all the ingredients. सारे जो we were like somebody is selling one onion shampoo, somebody is selling one argan shampoo. Why can't we just mix them all together? And then we spoke to our dermatologists and the formulators and the Ayurvedists, and we said, I hope there won't be any contraindications.
This
And
is
in
what
fact-
my question was.
Yeah, I
And in
hope
fact,
there will
I
be a
would-
synergistic
I would
effect,
encourage
symbiotic
you.
effect.
So this is our hair styling cream. You
Achha.
can just look at the ingredients section and just see how we've listed.
I
the
would actually like to read out as a
Please
consumer.
do.
हाँ,
Please
ठीक
do.
And like give my honest reaction. कि
बिल्कुल
मेरे
ठीक
दिमाग
है.
में क्या चल रहा है.
Because initially,
छोटा लिखा है यार.
you okay. I'll give you a slightly bigger one. Try this one.
हाँ, हाँ.
Ingredients में usually you would read the ingredients and you can be like, भाई ये किस type का Greek है? मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा. Now please read this and tell us what your takeaway is.
अच्छा,
And this applies
you
to
want
all
me
of
to
you.
starting से पहले. Arata all natural, no toxic stuff, vegan and cruelty free. Great. So are like their hair care products जो cruelty free नहीं है really?
Yes,
How are they cruel वैसे?
sure. अगर आप see, cruelty
Animal
free is a
testing.
term used for animal testing and animal
Yeah.
derivatives, right? So some people are using goat milk. Some people, not oat milk, goat milk, right? Some people are using silk proteins. Now, silk comes from the caterpillar, right? Some people are using honey. Beeswax and honey,
Achha.
which come from bees. Now, to what extent this is causing cruelty to the animals, we don't know. We don't test our finished products on animals. Some people do testing on, monkeys and rabbits and, mice and all that stuff. We don't do any of that because we're like, look, we have to also respect the ecosystem, So that's what cruelty free
But
means.
why are the bigger brands doing it then? अगर वो कर रहे हैं तो आप क्यों नहीं कर रहे हो और अगर आप नहीं कर पाके भी सस्टेन कर रहे हो तो उन पे ऐसी क्या मजबूरी है कि उनको करना पड़ रहा है?
So there are, in fact, that is where a small company has made a global change and had a network effect. So ये जो पूरा cruelty free वाला narrative था, it started with the Body Shop. So the Body Shop brand, this is, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, whenever they did start and they were just a small brand, they started with the positioning of cruelty free that we don't test on animals. Because it was rampant at that time. For any kind of trials or clinical trials, they were conducting them first on animals and then on rabbits and things like that. It was a very cruel system. And they said, we don't do that. Here's, personal care products without that kind of testing. And they've been able to make an impact to the extent, if I'm not wrong, there are large, even China, and I if I remember correctly, there was a point at which you couldn't sell in China because you didn't
Without
have
testing
animal
on it.
testing conducted on your products.
Achha, so they made it mandatory.
Mandatory,
You try it on animals
because
first.
they said that if it's safe on animals, then it means it's safe.
Because that's the protocol that was used in medicine across the globe as well, right? Because they would do lab trials on mice and stuff like that. So
And-
they thought that maybe this is the right protocol to follow.
अच्छा, when we say cruelty है यहाँ पे, ठीक है, does cruelty mean कि हम लोग किसी animal पे कैसे टेस्ट कर रहे हैं, या फिर is there something which actually happens जो animal को pain कर रहा है?
Yeah. So it's both. It's both. So first of all, they're in confined spaces,
हाँ.
right? They're lab animals, right? So like for example, rabbits, the testing is done on their eyes because it's the most sensitive area. So the testing will be done droppers after dropper being poured into the rabbit's eye to be able to test if a certain product is working or not and what the reaction of the eye is. So you are essentially kind of maiming the animal in different ways.
Torturing in a way.
Torturing it. Yeah.
It's actually very sad to even think about
Yeah,
it.
and it was rampant, and now it's becoming a hygiene, cruelty free and PETA certified cruelty free. I mean, PETA is of course an organization, but being cruelty free and vegan is now slowly becoming a hygiene in most personal care brands, and that's an impact that has
You're
come
seeing
from a
this in
startup.
apparel and fabric as well. People are using lesser leather. You know, even Mercedes is now using something called MB-Tex, which is a faux leather. It's a fake leather. It's not really real leather,
Acha.
right? So companies at massive scale are understanding the sustainability aspect and the cruelty, aspect, and as a result, modifying their
Luxury
ways.
brands are shifting from fur to to faux fur. To fake fur. So I mean, it's that change comes when a change comes, it always comes as a small spark, and then it catches fire.
Then it's
Fair
met with
enough.
resistance,
In
and
fact-
then eventually it's accepted.
In fact, I would just encourage you to read from this one, please, because that's an old
I'll read
label.
this one then.
Yeah.
So if I read out the ingredients, काफी सारे ingredients, purified water, यहाँ तक the story is good. Now this is where as a consumer I start getting lost. The
ठीक
next
है।
thing which I am reading out is sodium cocoyl isethionate,
उसके सामने क्या लिखा हुआ है?
cocobetene, glycerine, and sodium coconyl glycinate, guar, hydro, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, guar is like a
Chloride.
gum. Yeah.
critic acid, aloe something something, which is aloe vera, okay, leaf extract, elicpita, posperata. It's like मैं कोई regional language.
So these are like Latin names for all the
Alright.
ingredients.
But see, this is where I face the problem as a consumer. Ki now I don't know if this is good for me, bad for me.
So what you'll notice is in our ingredients, what you had first read over here, right after it. So these are all actually part of the same
It's
ingredient
the same
group.
ingredient.
So next to each one, we've written in brackets what each one is. So we've written, for example, we've written aloe barbadensis is aloe vera leaf extract. Then over here it's Eclipta prostrata bhringraj. So I mean, so on and so forth. There's a very complicated name here which I don't want to embarrass myself saying. It's pea seed extract. So what we've done is we've broken down the very difficult names and the scientific names to common names, so that when you're reading, and if you like, whenever you have time, you just look at it slightly more closely, you'll notice next to each complicated name is the common name, so that you can understand, oh, okay, this is a coconut extract, this is a aloe vera extract, this is a bhringraj.
It's like Latin names, right? Like a trapezius.
But I think this
Or
is still a
deltoid.
big problem which D2C brands have to figure out. It's not obviously like tailored to you, but आपका in fact better है. आपने फिर भी brackets में बताया.
Correct.
But still, once again, as a consumer,
Correct.
I still have only 1% clarity कि इसमें जो है finally वो मेरे लिए कितना सही है कितना गलत है उससे
Right.
फर्क क्या पड़ेगा.
Right.
अभी भी मैं confused ही हूँ.
Right.
Truth be told, and this is
Correct.
with every product in fact. So I think this is something which D2C brands have to figure out. कुछ तो इसका एक smart solution
एक
होना
काम करो,
चाहिए.
there's something called ChatGPT.
हाँ.
उसमें you can go to ChatGPT and literally say कि please, this is the product. Please read the ingredients and tell me what it actually means in
But once again, now
layperson's
that
terms.
is adding to the inconvenience of the consumer. Now, as a consumer, मैं हर product का बैठ के तो ये नहीं करूँगा ना. आप समझ रहे हो मतलब ultimately तो I can Google the every chemical
think-
name also.
I think I think the easiest way would be is that if we're in a setting like offline, right? Offline makes it a slightly more difficult task to figure out कि भाई ये क्या लिखा है label पे. So if every single brand adheres to ensuring that next to each ingredient the common name is written there, so that a common consumer can understand what this means, it would make it much easier for
मेरे
the
दिमाग में
decision
बहुत
making
अच्छा idea
process.
है. Random idea. I don't know कितना अच्छा है. Like behind your product, you can have a QR code. उस QR code को scan करो. Text नहीं आएगा. You open a short form video,
Right.
which in 1 minute breaks down. इसमें ये सब है. इससे ये सब
That's a
होगा
great
और
idea.
आपके
It's a
लिए ये
great
इसलिए
idea.
सही है.
हमने अपने वेबसाइट
Just scan the QR code और वीडियो प्ले हो जाए.
It's a
Something
great
like
idea
this.
and we're going to apply it.
yeah
And then we're going to say कि हमारा idea था.
हाँ हाँ आप ले लो यार. मेरे पास तो फुटेज में आ गया ना, तो आप बना दो इसको बड़ा,
ये
फिर मैं
footage
लॉ
fake
सूट
है,
भेजूंगा.
ये deep fake है.
नहीं हमारे पास रॉ है. हम लोग बिल्कुल सेफ गार्डेड है. But anyway, this is something actually interesting.
No, it
ऐसा
is.
कुछ
It's a
हो
great
रहा है.
idea.
Definitely see
Actually, we
has
should do a
legs.
series on this. Like, we should do like Mythbusters and like educational content on social.
Yeah, one more idea. Like, if that is possible on different products, there are random QR codes. So even if I have the same product again, I scan it and some random good short video on some hair personal care fact. अगर मैं आपका ही ले रहा हूँ, अगर मैं Head and Shoulders नहीं ले रहा, आपका अलग से ले रहा हूँ, means मैं थोड़ा ज्यादा कंसर्न्ड हूँ
Correct.
अबाउट माय हेयर केयर.
Correct.
तो मैं और चीजें जानना भी चाहूंगा.
Correct.
तो जैसे
Correct.
फैशन क्रिएटर्स वीडियोस बना रहे, maybe you can have you scan this and every time you get some new fact altogether.
Yeah.
No, definitely. So we do have certain QR codes right now on our packaging, which kind of leads you to the website and gives you information and stuff. We just haven't so far fleshed that out. We've had multiple ideas कि इस QR code when the consumer enters that journey कि उसका क्या करें. Multiple ideas हैं, but we haven't been able to lock down exactly how we want to do it. But this ingredient idea is great to be able to at least give that transparency and clarity to the consumer कि exactly इसमें है क्या.
तो थोड़ा सा अगर मैं अभी शार्क टैंक के क्वेश्चंस पे आऊं, तो आई रिमेम्बर आपने की जो आज थी उसके बाद विनीता का काउंटर था कि 1 करोड़ फॉर 2%, जो आपकी वैल्यूएशन
Correct.
50 करोड़ पे ले आए.
Correct.
विनीता नमिता कमिंग
Correct.
टुगेदर. तो यू हैड अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग काउंटर कि आप 1 करोड़ फॉर 1.33% ले लो
Correct.
एंड जो
Correct.
रिमाइंडर 0.67 है उसको आप एडवाइजरी शेयर ले लो.
Yes.
दोनों 0.33.
Yes.
तो इससे ना मेरे दो सवाल आए थे. पहली बात तो हाउ, मतलब इससे डिफरेंस क्या पड़ा? अल्टीमेटली तो उनको 2% ही गया.
Correct.
आपके पास नेट उतना ही पैसा आया.
Correct.
तो फर्क क्यों पड़ा कि
I'll
हम
tell
सिर्फ
you.
इक्विटी वैल्यूएशन में 1.33 ही क्यों काउंट कर रहे हैं, पूरा 2 क्यों नहीं? सेकेंडली आई थॉट कि व्हाट इज एन एडवाइजरी शेयर, डिफरेंस क्या पड़ता है कि वो वैल्यूएशन में काउंट नहीं करते हम?
ये जो अगर आपने वो if you remember from the pitch वहाँ पे we even said that there are other investors coming in this round, right? So if we were to reduce the valuation to 50 crores for Vinita and Namita, then we would have to offer that same valuation to all other investors. Now we had got all the other investors and we'd agreed to them to come in at a 78-79 crore pre-money valuation. So that was the reason why we could not reduce the valuation. But what we did was we offered them the balance points. We maintained the valuation, but we gave them slightly more equity to give them 2% at the same valuation. Now, how we did that was advisory shares means, it's very simple. Advisory means to give advice, consulting, help, strategic, inputs. So
Access.
yeah, access, distribution, marketing, technology, raw materials, formulations, they can help with both these things because Emcure Pharma and Sugar Cosmetics both are, leaders in their fields. So they can add a lot of value to us, both Namita and Vinita. So we said that you put in 1 crore, but you'll get the value of basically 2%, which is roughly, 1.6, 1.7 crore investment. जो balance 60-70 lakhs का जो आप कैश देने वाले थे, instead of giving us cash, you give us the ज्ञान और आप उतने अमाउंट का एक इनवॉइस रेज कर लो कि I have provided you so many strategic advisory services. And now suddenly I owe you that money. अब now instead of giving you that money, I'll say कि ठीक है मैं आपको कैश नहीं दूंगा, but I'll pay you in kind. Right? So that is the way you go about doing advisory
Essentially,
shares.
what this helped us do is it helped us maintain our valuation where it is. And the sharks invested a certain amount, but उससे थोड़ा ज़्यादा मिला. So if they were to get, say a certain amount with what they were investing, they invested the same amount, but they got a few extra shares.
तो बेसिकली इट्स लाइक आप 2% ही लो, बट आपको मैं सिर्फ 1.33 दे रहा हूँ आपके पैसे के नाम पे.
Yes.
रिमाइंडर में आपको
Correct.
मेंटरशिप के इन काइंड दे देता हूँ. बार्टर हो गया कि आप मेंटरशिप दो, उसके बदले इक्विटी है.
बिल्कुल. एंड जब ये एडवाइजरी शेयर्स का अग्रीमेंट बनता है ना, इट्स एक्चुअली अ प्रॉपर अग्रीमेंट एंड अ डॉक्यूमेंट कि आप ये सर्विसेज आप इतनी मेंटरशिप
तो फिर आपको बाकी इन्वेस्टर्स नहीं बोलेंगे कि भाई फिर हमारे साथ भी यही करो?
बिल्कुल बोल.
So you also can only get into an advisory agreement with investors or advisors who are coming in who also are able to add that value to the business. Now we have no doubt that additional advisory share that we've given Namita and Vinita, they're going to give back 10 times more to the organization through the capabilities they have and they've built over time. So we can't just not any investor can come to us and say I'll put money and I want advisor shares as well. So first we'll ask, okay, why do you think advisor shares are justified? What value can you add to the business? If they can't justify that answer, then they're not going to get advisory shares. Simple as that. And we also wanted to close a deal with them because we understand what kind of capabilities they have. So this helped us not reduce the valuation, keep it where it is, and they also get what they want.
So it is an exception. I mean,
it
we
was an
don't usually
exception,
do
it's not
this.
a rule.
नहीं, but this was a very smart way out. I was very impressed कि अच्छा ऐसा कुछ crack हुआ. But then I had this doubt कि अच्छा इससे फर्क क्यों पड़ा. Now I
And,
understand.
I
फर्क
don't know
क्यों
अगर
पड़ा.
आपने देखा था when we were walking back
He
on
said,
to,
we will say no.
yeah, yes, and he said
क्या
कि
चीज़ थी वो कि ये नहीं हुआ तो
I'll
no.
clarify. So we had discussed that we would offer this structure, this advisory share. And I said, if they say no to that, then we
Then we
may
agreed
have
on
to, then we would need to walk away from the deal. Only reason being because Madhok and I also have a fiduciary responsibility to our shareholders.
Fair enough.
And there was, the last shareholders who came in at a certain valuation, we didn't want to go do a down round. Because that down round sets off multiple things. It's a domino effect, anti-dilution, liquidation preference, multiple things it kicks off. And we didn't want to go down that road.
And if you're giving me 1 rupee today, I don't want to come back to you tomorrow and say your 1 rupee is now worth 0.85.
True.
I'd rather come back to you and say your 1 rupee is now worth 1.25. Right? It's our responsibility to do whatever we can in our power to protect the people.
So we thought to ourselves, instead of going on a lower valuation, let's go and justify to Vinita and Namita why we deserve the valuation we have. And this is how we can get it.
हमारा last podcast था Pizza Galeria संदीप भाई के
Amazing
साथ.
guys.
So
Awesome
he
guys.
told me कि these two, मैंने उनको बताया कि next it's with Arata and he was like बहुत बढ़िया लोग हैं ऐसे and he was like उनको बहुत नॉलेज है, VC वाली बहुत नॉलेज है उनको, VC वाली
Really?
बहुत, ऐसा कुछ कहा था.
Books
Now I realize what he meant क्योंकि you guys know these nitty-gritties कि
thank
मैं ऐसा कुछ बना के दे
And
दूंगा.
हमें भी Madhok is not from a VC background, neither am I from like any kind of like we haven't worked at investment banks or VCs or Ps or anything like that. We've learned on the job. हम बहुत blessed थे, बहुत privileged थे, बहुत lucky थे कि हमारा first round, seed round was by an institutional investor, was by a VC and a very well-known one. So fate destined that for us, and then over this 5-year period we learned about all of these things. जो भी हमारे rounds हुए उसके बाद हमने ये सारी चीजें सीखी. So we also started with zero understanding and we built that understanding over the years.
Fair enough. काफी ज्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्वर्सेशन, लाइक काफी ज्यादा हमने हेयर केयर के अराउंड बात करी क्योंकि दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल स्पेशली ऑफ माय एज ग्रुप आर लाइक टॉकिंग अबाउट बिकॉज दे रियली, अभी तक क्या था कि इट वाज यूजुअली अ फीमेल सेंटरिंग थिंग कि आप
correct.
अपना हेयर केयर करो. Now the men are also getting into it a lot. So a lot of the questions which I asked, these were like genuine doubts which I have. A lot of them I still have, but that is something we discussed कि ये तो D2C level पे ही figure out करना पड़ेगा.
Correct.
How to make the consumer understand. But thank you so much guys
Thank
for
you so
coming
much.
over
It
here.
was amazing.
I hope we have a bro meet again
We'll
outside the
definitely do
studio.
it. Yeah.
And thank you so much guys for watching. Do let me know in the comment section कि कौन सा अगला Shark Tank brand है जिसको आप देखना चाहोगे. Till then, keep hustling and keep making money. Bye bye.